Okay. Okay. Today we're going to start by the Mishnah on Kuf Daled on Beis. Yeah.
You want to put everybody on mute?
Yeah, let me do that. Okay. Okay. We thank Hashem that we're able to learn Torah every day. Yeah. And then the list of our learning, we should have the basic Mikdash immediately. We're learning the Nishmas, have a gold Basra Daf and Sanos have been Mitzian and for Shleim, if I've been David Ben Sarah and Gedali Getzel, yes, I'm taking some Torah. Make a bracha.
Isn't it the UN site of
oh yeah, today's the Rebbe's mother's yahrzeit. Okay. The Mishnah says like this: Mida bechevel ani meicher lach, hein chaser hein yater. There's no Taisus. Yeah. There's no Rashi also. So the Mishnah says that if someone says to his friend, "I'm selling you a piece of land that I measure exactly, precisely, more or less." It's approximately exact. That's what he said. So, what's the rule when he says that? We learned before that if he says exactly, then if there's any deviation from that, then it's the what's the rule? Inaki, you have to adjust the price. And if he says more or less, then you have up to 1/24 to make any changes. And here he says both. So the Mishnah says, "Batal hein chaser hein yater mida bechevel." The second expression, what he says more or less, that nullifies his first expression, what he said exactly. Okay. Let's say he said it the other way. Let's say he says, "Hein chaser hein yater mida bechevel." He says, approximately, I'm selling you this amount. And then he adds in exactly. So then, then the second expression, which is exactly, that nullifies his approximately. Okay, and this Mishnah is Divri Ben Nanas. This is the words of Ben Nanas. Yeah. So, Amar Rababa Bar Mamal Amar Rav. Rababa Bar Mamal, he's a student of Rav. He says in the name of Rav, very significant here, the names. Rav, who's saying this? Rav is saying it. Soon we're going to have Shmuel saying something. Very significant because the Gemara is going to adjust what does Rav really hold, what does Shmuel really hold. So we start out with Rav's statement about this Mishnah is that Cholkan alav chaveira val benanas, that this is an individual that holds this, but all the other sages argue on him. It's not Bananas is saying this for everyone. No, Bananas is saying this independently. The others argue. What would the others say? They would say that Mamana mutal b'safek cholken. They say whenever you have a doubt, you divide it. So over here, when he has two expressions, and we don't know, do you go after the first expression? Do you go after the second expression? So we would have to split it in half. Okay. The Gemara asks, "My kamashmalan, what is Rav Bar Mamal in the name of Rav? What is Rav? What's his chiddush? Hanina. We know that the sages argue on bananas because we have a Mishnah in Bava Metzia. It says over there, Maisa b'Tzipari. There was a story in the city of Tzipari. He rented out a bathhouse, which was used probably for income. Someone owned the property, and this fellow rented it, and he would charge people to come in. But he rented it for a year, and when he rented it for the year, the person told him that it's 12 coins per year, one 1 coin per month. Where does it say that? What?
The
Yeah, it says something like that in Hilchos Shabbos. In Hilchos Shabbos, right? Is that what it said? Yeah, it could be. Okay. So whatever the case is, about my Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, you hear the problem? The problem was that there were 13 months that year.
Yeah.
So the renter is saying, I want to get it for 12 coins. And the owner is saying I rented it for 1 coin per month. And there's 13 months this year. So B'mais Lifnei Reb Shimon ben Gamliel Lifnei Reb Yaisi. The story comes to Reb Shimon ben Gamliel and Reb Yaisi. They were the same generation. These are Rabbi Gamliel was a friend of Rabbi Akiva. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel is his son, and Rabbi Yaisi is a student of Rabbi Akiva. So that's like one generation past Rabbi Akiva. And they said that we have to divide it up. He's going to pay half. He's going to pay 12 and a half coins for this year instead of 13. Why? Because it's a doubt. We don't know what he meant when he said 12 coins per year, 1 coin per month. So what is that? Does that mean the first expression, 12 coins per year? Or did he mean 1 coin per month, which is going to be 13 this year because this was a leap year?
If someone pays for rent annually once a year, it's always going to be less than monthly. If there's a leap year.
If there's a leap year.
When we learned this before, didn't it say there was like 1 per month? We didn't do this dividing.
No, it said. Well, let's see. There's going to be a statement that there's some details that it depends on.
You would
However,
think there would be like a minhag medina regarding this, right? Seems like like yeah,
like what
whole
that means.
month going for free. They wouldn't a lot.
Right.
For example, in real estate, they usually do when you're prorating the rent. Usually you do based on 30, now that count 31. 31 days. Usually go by 30.
So 1 second. When they rent something for a month, and the month has only 29 days, does that have any effect on this?
When they prorate the rent, they usually use 30.
When they prorate it, they prorate it because every day has a value, and so they're using a 30-day month. And if the month has 31 days, it's free. 30th day. Interesting. All right.
Then when it's 29, then it doesn't.
And if there's 28. Okay. Yeah, it's a little strange over here.
It's only 1 month that has less than 30 or 31.
Okay. So the Gemara says our question here is on Rav. What's Rav's chiddush that the sages argue on bananas? We have a Mishnah that has the sage's opinion that says Yachlaiku. Gemara says if you were just going to take from that Mishnah and tell me that the sages argue on bananas, then I would have said without Rav coming in and telling me that our Mishnah the sages argue as well, but we just would have had it from the case of the bathhouse. Over there, I could have said that he's possibly retracting, or possibly I could say she's just explaining. But here we are in our case, I would say not. Now let me just explain what's going on. When someone says 12 coins per year, 1 coin per month. So there's 3 possibilities that would be different about the 1 coin per month. First of all, if he says 12 coins per year, he collects it only at the end of the year, all 12 coins. Also, he can't kick him out during the year. It's a full year rental. And then there's another point that if it's a leap year, it's still only 12 coins. On the other hand, if he says 1 coin per month, then let's go back. First of all, he can collect the rent every month. It's not usually schirus eina mishtalemes ela b'seif. Rentals are only collected at the end of the year, at the end of the time. It's not a debt. It's like a purchase at the last day. Remember? Then he can collect it every month. He can collect it. He can collect it every month. He can kick him out after every month, and also he gets the 13th month. But I could say right now that because he said 12 coins per year, and then he goes on and he says 1 coin per month, maybe he was just explaining what he meant 12 coins per year, that I would like to collect those 12 coins 1 per month. When he says 1 per month, you see, 12 coins per year is not necessarily contradicting 1 coin per month. If what his intention was to say, I want to collect it after each month. And maybe I want to kick you out be able to kick you out after each month. Right. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I want to get the 13th month free. So there's a possibility what he meant over here was he's just explaining. And when he said 12 coins per year, he really means 12 coins per year. So why do you say 1 coin per month? Is he contradicting? No, he was just saying, I want to be able to collect those 12 coins every month. What about the 13th month? That's going to be free.
He didn't know there'll be a 13th month until they came to it.
He doesn't know that it's going to be a 13th, but that was the deal. So it could be that he's explaining, even though it looks like he's changing from 12 coins per year to 1 coin per month, and that's changing from 12 coins to 13 coins. Not necessarily. Maybe he really means 12 coins anyway. And all he's saying is that I want to be able to collect those 12 coins per month. So if he's explaining it, then he's not retracting. Or maybe we say that he is retracting. So I would say over there that if Rav didn't step in and tell me that the sages are arguing on bananas, then I would have said that the Mishnah over there that only has the opinion of Reb Shimon ben Gamliel and Reb Yossi that say that you divide it, I would say that bananas also says you divide it. Because over there's a doubt. Was he retracting or was he explaining how he wants to collect the money? But however, when it comes to us, I would say that everyone would agree that there's no explaining here because this is clearly a contradiction. Does he want it to be exact or does he want it to be approximately? You can't have both. It's a square circle. You can't have approximately exact. That doesn't work. So I would say over here that for sure, you would have to take the second expression, and everyone would agree with bananas. Why over there do they argue? Because there's a possibility that he wasn't retracting from his first expression. He was explaining his first expression, and even bananas would agree with it. So it could be from that Mishnah by the Merchatz, by the bathhouse, maybe there's no machlokes. So that's why we have a chiddush from Rav that by us tells us that no, the sages are actually arguing with bananas, and they say, Banana says you take the second expression, and the sages say that there's a doubt which expression, the first expression or the second. In other words, the reason for Merchatz is not because maybe he's explaining it or maybe he is retracting. The reason for Merchatz is, I don't know, do I take the first expression or do I take the second expression?
Oh. Why can't we apply the Shnei Machsin to this here, which is mentioned at all?
Yeah.
It's not, why are we going to these missions? They're both arguing over one thing.
Yeah.
So Yachloko Bishko.
Yeah. That's the Taisvis on the first page of Metzia goes through these options of, over here we say by Yachloko Bishua. Over here we say Yehimuna Chadshiav Elio. Then we say Hamaitz Mechver. Then we say Shuda Dedaini. We say Kol Dalim Gvar. Or we say Yachleiko B'Leishvua maybe. Or you have all these other, goes through each case that when each one is applicable.
So this is one way you can't say.
Yeah, each one has its like criteria of why it's.
So they don't consider here that like a person is not gonna want to make it more expensive for himself.
Just watch out, maybe
Watch
a
out
drop
for the
wet,
wet
maybe a
floor.
drop wet on the floor.
There
Tell me
should be
again, a person will.
It's considered here that the person is not gonna want to make it more expensive for himself. Like if he offered like 12,
Yeah.
12 a year, then he says 12 like one a month.
Yeah,
then the
but
next
we
one-
know that everyone in the end is going to want to make the most money. The question is what he meant at the time when he said it. And now at the end, he says, oh, well, now I want differently.
Yeah, make the most money, yes, but not pay the most money. Saying
Right.
on the part of the renter, like why would we want? Like,
Yeah, but the question is, when the person was renting it, did he have in mind? Did he? What was his? It's not his intention. It's really what's his words. His words are if it's 12 points per year, then 12 points per year. That's what it is. Got a good deal because he got a 13th month.
At the time though, on the calendar, they didn't know.
Right, right, right. They didn't have a calendar yet.
that's why I don't think it was like intentionally trying to give an extra.
Right.
But for sure, if you
You know,
have
like
a year,
like a regular year,
plus
12 months, 12 points.
I guess that's Daniel was mentioning this. How does it work? And in every business transaction that they had, how would they deal with that 13th month? They didn't know it was coming. What was the standard? Would it be automatically for free across all the rental cars back then were all automatically the 13th month free?
The rental is different because at least here now it's by day. But for example, like the mortgage, they don't send you a cheaper bill in February because you have a lesser day.
Right,
They don't send you more when you have to do one.
right, because they're dividing it by 365, I guess, and then they just bill you like first of the month, no matter what.
mortgage is different because you're paying down something that you owe.
Huh.
If it's, not the
Rental is different. You're not.
In regard to the cars, all the automatics, and change the manuals. You have to
Back then, the manual.
change. One's manual, you have to make the change.
Yeah.
So in modern day scientific writing, they say like the number is 1.6555 and they have 10 decimal points. There's a plus or minus at the end,
Right.
which they call the error term. So it's exactly the 10 digits, but it's plus or minus, 3, a big number. So that's like the cone of the hurricane. And here's where the eye is supposed to be, but there's this margin. We don't know what's there. Is that the same idea that's going on here? You're arguing whether.
No, it's not exactly, because we're not using we are using the decimal point, but that same on that same decimal point, there's
Right.
one that says exactly that, and the other statement that said approximately that.
Right. That's the plus or minus at the end.
Yeah, the plus or minus at the end is there's two statements. One of them is that it's at the end. Another is that it's like 4 digits earlier.
Right.
Right. Where to put that plus or minus sign?
So it's always at the end in modernization.
Yeah, but where's the end? So if you put it back a few digits, then it changes.
Oh.
In this Gemara, when he's talking about measuring with the rope, we're talking about the plot of land that's exactly a rectangle or square.
Yeah.
That's the only way. So it can't be a circle
Right.
where he measures the radius and he says, this is exactly the radius times pi. And that's the
It
circle.
could be.
No,
could be.
according to him, because pi never ends. It would be plus or minus at the end.
They would do it at
You know,
3.14 or whatever.
Then it's not
Or
exact.
3. I
You're
think
trying to
this,
tell
according to
what-
the stage, it was just 3. It was just 3. Yeah. Okay. So So Kamash Malan Rav is telling me a chiddush that there's a machlekes here between bananas and the sages. See where we're holding? We're at a Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav Yehuda Mar Shmuel. It's the middle of the page. Amar Rav Yehuda Mar Shmuel. Rav Yehuda says in the name of Shmuel. This is the last statement we had was Rav Abba Bar Mamal in the name of Rav. And Rav Abba Bar Mamal in the name of Rav said, his expression was, the sages argue on bananas. Okay, fine. Rav Yehuda in the name of Shmuel says, Rav Yehuda studied by Rav and by Shmuel, this is the second teacher, Shmuel. He says, Zu divri bananas. These are the words of bananas. But the sages say, the sages say that you have to follow whatever is less of the two expressions. Now, whatever is less would mean to the seller. Because whatever is going to be less damaging to the seller. So the way that would work was like this: that if he says, I'm selling you exactly a piece of this size piece of land, approximately, right? So now, which one is it, exactly or approximately? So it depends. If he gave too little, the land was too small, wasn't that size, then what he meant was approximately. If he gave too much, then what he meant was exactly, and he gets it back, right? So whatever it is to the benefit of the seller, that's what the sages would say. Not that you follow the second expression across the board. No, it depends on the muhsik. The seller would be the muhsik. He's the one that would win over here. Because he's holding it. Yeah. So that's what this is the words of Shmuel, Zu divri bananas. That these are the words of bananas. Now the Gemara asks on this expression that Rabbi Yehuda said in the name of Shmuel. He says Zu v'lei svirlei. When it says these are the words, does that mean to say that he himself doesn't agree with bananas? When he says these are maybe those are the words of bananas, but I don't hold like that. Is that what he means? Or does he mean those are the words of bananas, and I do hold like that? But when it says those are the words of bananas, sounds like he doesn't hold like bananas, right? Because he says those are the words of bananas, but the sages say it sounds like he holds like the sages. So the Gemara challenges this. It says, is that what he holds? That he doesn't agree with bananas? But Rav Shmuel Damri Tavaya, but both Rav and Shmuel said, Kur b'shleishim ani meichel. If someone sells a core of grain, core is 30 sa, right? A core could also be a base core, that's a property, but a core could also be a measurement of a volume of grain or something. So each sa was 144 eggs, and he's selling core 30 sa b'shleishim for 30 coins, 30 sela. What happens is the guy starts measuring out these saw, these things. He takes 30 buckets, 30 saw buckets. He's measuring it out. But until he measures out the last one, the person can retract from the whole sale. Both the buyer and the seller, they can retract because I didn't finish taking it. The kinyan is when you've lifted, you've lifted up. Only when you've lifted the final one is the full kinyan. Until that, there's still strings attached, and he could get it back.
Didn't we have the case before where it depended if he was pouring into the buyer's sack?
Yeah.
So I thought once it was in the buyer's sack.
Yeah, that would mean, okay, so the last saw wasn't in the buyer's sack yet. Okay. So then he could retract even at the last saw. Now the problem over here is that he gave two expressions. Oh, 1 second, no. Here he says Kurbis, he only gave one expression. So this expression, he can retract until the last saw. Let's say he says, Kur b'shloishim sa b'sel ani meichelach. Let's say he gives two expressions. Says, I'm selling you a kur for 30 coins. Each saw is a coin. Well, this is a different story. Rishon kana, he acquires each one. Why? It looks like because we take the second expression. Which means if Shmuel is saying this, that means that Shmuel does hold of bananas. Banana says you always take the second expression, the later expression. Later expression is retracting from the first one. That means that he bought each saw independently with a coin. He doesn't have to give the coin. He just has to take the saw and then he owes the coin. But what we're seeing is that Shmuel holds a bananas. So why do you say zu divrei bananas? These are the words of bananas, but he doesn't hold like that. If he does hold like that, Ella, it must be zu v'svirale. When he says these are the words of bananas, must mean that these are the words, and I hold like that. Didn't tell us exactly, but it just sounded like he doesn't. So it says umi svirale. Now we ask the opposite. So you can never win over here. Whatever you say, you're wrong, right? So
Isn't it here also explaining? It's not contradicting, just explaining. Sella besella, like we said before.
That's a good point. I don't know the answer to that, unless we say that we just reject it. That was a suggestion that maybe the Chachamim weren't really arguing with bananas. Now that we know that they are arguing with bananas, then we don't say that explaining thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Once we rejected that, now we're back at there's a machlekes here, and do you take the second one, or do we have a doubt of second one or first one? Now it seems if that's the way the Gemara is headed, so now it seems that Shmuel is clear that he accepts the second one, which is Bananas' view. Elazu v'svirle. The Gemara says umi svirle, and does he really hold of Bananas? Shmuel, but Shmuel says back in that Mishnah in Bab Metzia, this was the detail that we left out, was that it depends when the person is coming to collect his 13th coin. He rented out a bathhouse for 12 coins per year, 1 coin per month. It turned out that it was a leap year. So we said that you divide it. So Shmuel says the 13th coin. So he says, why do you divide it? He says, because the owner comes to collect on the 15th of the month. So he can tell him, okay, if you don't want to pay, get out, because he's the owner. Another person can say, his position was, no, you told me 12 coins. I already had it, and if you want to extract from me that half a coin that I lived here already, you were going to have to prove it. So the owner of the house has the rights to the second half of the month to collect because the guy didn't live there yet, right? He's not the muhsik. He doesn't have possession of it already, but he has possession of it for the first half of the month. So Shmuel's explaining the reason why he gets half a coin over there is not because we have a doubt, because of the view of the sages. The reason why he has a coin over there is, well, actually, it is because of the doubt. It's not because we're asking that he doesn't hold of bananas. Does he hold of bananas? But that's going to be at the end of the Gemara. 1 second. Right now we're ignoring that. But Rab's opinion. We'll see Rab's opinion.
Usually, Rav and Shmuel don't agree.
Yeah, but that's not a proof to anything. Sometimes they do. Here it says, "Amar Rav Shmuel." Since Shmuel says that he's coming in the middle of the month, it must be that he doesn't accept that it's because of an actual doubt What do you say that this time?
I don't know what your question is.
Saying now that we quote Shmuel's opinion, that why he's paying half, according to the sages, is because he came in the middle of the month. What does that prove to me?
He doesn't hold like bananas.
Yeah, but you don't hold like bananas anyway. That whole Mishnah is not like bananas. He's explaining the sages. He's explaining the sages.
They're saying because it's the middle of the month. The landlord and tenant are considered to equal possession of the disputed amount.
Yeah, it says, in that case, is the disputed rent divided up between them.
Oh, that's the way they're explaining it. That because Shmuel is justifying the statement of Reb Shimon ben Gamliel and Reb Yossi, that means that that's the way he's paskening, and not like bananas. If we were saying that maybe Shmuel holds like bananas, now we're saying no, he's justifying the statement of Reb Shimon ben Gamliel that says why does he only pay half for that 13th month? That's the explanation for Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. So that means that Shmuel doesn't hold the bananas. According to bananas, you would have to pay 13. Okay. So now Ella La'ilam, rather we must say, we're discussing when Shmuel says this is the words of bananas, does that mean he holds a bananas, or does it mean he disagrees with bananas? So we just understood now that it must be that he disagrees with bananas. It must be that when he says this is the opinion of bananas, that says that we accept the second statement, that's because bananas holds that, but Shmuel himself disagrees. V'hasam taimamai. And why by the bathhouse do we say that it's he gets half? He gets half. That's Mishum de Tafis, because he was in it for half the time, and that's why he gets it. So if that's the case, Hachinami, what's going to be by us? We have to go back to the case of when he says a core for 30 coins. 1 saw per coin, of course, 30 saw, 1 saw per coin, and over there we said that he acquires it one at a time. So why over there does he acquire one at a time? If he holds like bananas, then no. If he holds like bananas, then it sounds like he holds like bananas because he's acquiring. According to the second version of what he's saying, in bananas holds you always take the second version, right? The second expression, and it sounds like he's saying that. It says no, it's not because of bananas. The reason why he's acquiring one at a time is because achanami hatafis, is because he took it already, and now when you want to try to take it away from him, so he's already has possession. So the same reason why half the month of the bathhouse the person gets, even though bananas doesn't hold of that, is because he already had possession of it for 15 days. So too, the reason why he acquires each saw independently of the other 30 saw is because he already took possession of it. Yeah, so it's not because of bananas. Only problem with this is that we said Rav and Shmuel, the Amri Tarvayo, Rav and Shmuel both say that you acquire each one independently, and it's going to come out from this is that Shmuel says you acquire each one independently because you already took it, and Rav is going to hold that you acquire each one independently because he holds a bananas, which is the second statement. So they made one statement, but each of them have different reasons for why they said that, which is odd to say it like that. So Rav and Shmuel, the Amri Tarvayu, Rav and Shmuel both say the halacha, but they each have a different reason for that halacha. Okay, Amar Rav Huna Amri Bei Rav. Rav Huna says that it was said in the yeshiva of Rav. You have a note on this? The Rashbam is telling me something about Rav Hamnuna. Is he adjusting the Rav Huna to Rav Hamnuna? The Gemara states, quoting this, quoted in this manner is from, when Sanhedrin states that a ruling quoted in this manner is from Rav Hamnuna, Rav disciple. It is considered to reflect the view of Rav himself. It may be seen from the fact that, when it says Amri Bey Rav, that's the Gemara Sanhedrin, Rav Naftali, that has all of those rules. When it says Amri Bey Rav, who is the Bey Rav? The Bey Rav is Rav Hamnuna. Okay, but we're on this. But it's saying that that when Rav Hamnuna says it, it's reflecting the opinion of Rav himself. Okay, now it goes like this. Rav Hamnuna says that it was said in the house of Rav Hamnuna. Astira meyamai. If the person says, I'll pay you an astira. An astira is 96 pennies. He says, I'll pay you an astira, 100 ma. Very close to 100, but it's not really 100. Let's say we had a coin. We have $1 coin, right?
So
But let's say we had
a
it. Right. But let's say we had a coin that was 96 pennies.
96% silver.
Yeah. So the guy says, I'll give you this other coin, and he says this coin. But it's very close, the two coins. So Rav says that whichever one he said second is the one that he agreed to. He retracted from the first one, which is really Ben Nanas' view. So it goes like this: Astira or Istira, maybe. Meyamai. An Istira, which is 96, is 100. You know the coins? What's your name? What's your first name? Yaakov. Shalom, you know the coins, right? The way it works is like this: that there's 8 prutas in an isser. There's 2 isser in a pundian, 2 pundian in a ma. And what we're doing now is we're not doing 6 mas in a dinner. We're doing 3 ma in half a dinner. Now, if you add that up, how many prutas do you have in half a dinner? An istera is half a dinner. What you have to do is 8 times 2 isser is going to be, 8 times 2 is going to be 16 times 2 pundian, because in the 2 pundian, it's going to be 32. Now you do times 3 because half a dinner. So 32 times 3 is 96. So the istera is 96 prutas. And he says, I'll buy it for istera for meyamai. So it's very close. But if he says the opposite, he says meyamai istera, then istera. He said whatever the second one is. My kamashmal on tafas lashon achron. What's the chiddush of this Bei Rav? Of that Rav is the house of Rav is saying that you take the second expression. Amarav chadazimna. Amarav yavai hasam avivna kula maskef. Rav says, back by the case of the bathhouse, that if he was there, he would say that the masker is going to get the owner of the property, the owner of the bathhouse is going to get the extra coin, not half the coin, the whole coin. Why? Because he said 12 coins per year, 1 coin per month. Why does he get 1 coin per month? Why does he get the 13th coin? What? 1 coin per month means 13 coins, which Rav is saying, but really that we would take the second expression fully. And that's which is Ben Nanas' opinion. So what are you telling me over here? You take the second expression? Rav says over there that we take the second expression. Why do we need 2 statements of Rav to say the same thing? So the Gemara now says, Mal detema Perushi kamefarish. I could have said that when he said over there, now we have a new explanation of Daniel in Perushi kamefarish. I could have said that when he said over there that he would take the second expression, we're going back into this. It's that he would have to, we would have explained it, not that he's retracting, not that he really, when there's a contradiction, that he retracts from the first statement. When he said 12 coins per year, I could have explained it out. This is what Rashbam's explanation. Could have explained it that he meant 12 coins per year for a regular year. But for a leap year, then it meant 13 coins. If we could have explained it, not that he's contradicting that. Yeah. We never thought of this before. This was a clear contradiction. It's either 12 or 1 per month. Say no, he could have even that. He could have explained that the 12 coins were for a regular year. And that's why you're able to take 13 coins now, because not because I always take the second expression, but it's because the second expression is explaining the first expression. It's explaining that in a regular year I would have had 12. But now it's a leap year, so now I get 13. But if you have a clear contradiction, like Astira Meyamai or Ister, 96 coins or 100 coins, which one is it? It can only be one of them. Then I wouldn't know that Rav really says that you take the second expression. Maybe over there it's a doubt. When do I say it's not a doubt and you take the second expression? When it's explaining the first expression, when it contradicts it, maybe I would say differently. So that's the Chiddush of Rav over here, that he's saying that you take the second expression. He's going out like 100%, like bananas. Okay.
Good job. You could do it tomorrow.
Are you out till tomorrow?
No, I was supposed to be out today and Dr. Stein prepared. And then my trip was canceled. So
The storm.
it wasn't actually canceled from the storm. It was canceled because people didn't want to travel.